my friends, welcome to another video. My name is Christine and I hope you guys are doing well. So in this video I found a tag that's been going around booktube for several years, and it is the reading habits book tag. Unfortunately I could not find the original creator of that because every video that I looked at, they just mentioned who they were tagged. No one even listed the questions, so I will definitely list the questions down below if you want to do this book tag. I will put down who I originally saw, the person I saw that did this tag most recently. And the only reason I know it's been around for a while is I did try and find who did the tag, but I'm finding a bunch of other channels that did the tags 2-3 years ago. Some just as early as this particular YouTuber 2 weeks ago. But no one's listed who the original creator was. Again, no one's listed the questions, but I will definitely put the questions down below. No one has tagged me, but if you would like to do this and have not, or you did a while ago and would like to do it again, definitely do so. Consider yourself tagged. So let's go ahead and get into it. I will answer these questions and maybe go over things a little bit. So question number 1, do you have a certain place at home that you like to read? No. I will read at home pretty much anywhere. Front room. I'll even read at the dining table sometimes. Although I don't really like to read while I'm eating because I don't want the crumbs and I don't want to risk spilling something on the book. But I will have some snacks sometimes. But like the main dish, main course, I don't like to eat when reading, that type of a thing, unless I'm home alone. But even then, I would rather just watch some booktube. I read in my bed. We have a sewing room that's next to my room and put in a recliner, so I'll read in there. I'll read in the front room, just wherever I can get comfortable. I'll even read outside when the weather's nice and we have the patio furniture out. So I'll read anywhere in the house. Question number 2, do you use a bookmark or a random piece of paper? I use a bookmark, unless I lose the bookmark, and then I'll just insert a random piece of paper until I get to my room and pick out another bookmark. So a bookmark. The one I am currently using is one that my mom made for me. She did a cross stitch one for me, just the pattern that repeats. This is my favorite bookmark. Because again, my mom made that for me. So I do use a bookmark. I went through all my bookmarks. My other favorite bookmark, I'm going to cover up my friend's face, is one that was kind of scrapbooked by my friend. And it's just a picture of us as a child. So that's me. Had to be 7 or 8 in that picture. So let me see if I can get that. There we go, just a little bit. Anyway, so it's just kind of a scrapbook, so it's got stickers and stuff. Just because it's like the picture was great, just nostalgia. So this is my other favorite bookmark. There's a book I'm going to use this for, so I have that off to the side. So yes, I use a bookmark, again, unless I lose it, but the random piece of paper is only temporary until I get home and get to my collection of bookmarks and just pick up the one I want to use. Question number 3 is, can you just stop reading at any point, or do you have to get to a natural stopping point, like the end of a chapter, the end of a certain page, or a page break, or something like that? Unless there's an emergency, like if something happens and my mom's yelling for help, that's the only time I can stop completely randomly. But even then, it takes me out of the book enough so suddenly and jarring that I have to go back a page to get back to that point and then continue on. So that's the only time I will stop. Or if I'm reading in a doctor's office and the doctor walks in. And again, that's kind of a jarring stop. And so I will have to back up at least a page to remember and keep going to get back into the story. So I can stop randomly, but it is very jarring to me because I tend to get invested enough during that time that I'm reading. I do prefer to stop at the end of a chapter if there is a natural page break, like it goes from one point of view point of view to another point of view, or one time to a different time on the same chapter, and there's a natural little break, or the end of a paragraph. But even then, at the end of a paragraph, it has to be a natural enough stop that they're going to move on to a different thought. But if they're just going to continue on, I have to go until I feel like it's a natural stop. It just raises my anxiety if I don't, for whatever reason. So it's very hard to just put the book down. I can do it, but I just am very much in kind of a physical turmoil until I get back to that point again, go back a page to get back to where I had stopped. So I do prefer, very much so, the end of a chapter or a natural page break where they're switching complete different topics, different points of view, different time frames, or anything like that. Outside of that, I do struggle. Another part of the question is if you have to read a certain amount of pages, and I don't. That one, I will just read until I either get tired or I get to a natural stopping point and then have to go and do something else, like prepare dinner, do my teeth, take care of the dogs, just whatever the case may be. But so no number of pages is a requirement. I just have to really want to get to a natural stop, a natural breathing point, a natural break. Again, end of chapter, a page break where it switches from one point of view to another, or time frame, just something, one train of thought to a different train of thought, just something that's a natural stop before I continue on to something different. Question number 4, do you eat and drink while you read? Yes, I do, to a point. I will drink as long as it is in, let me get it, something that has a lid where I am fairly protected, and even then it will be a certain distance away from my book. I will be holding the book, but this will be down on the table. So it's not going to be right next to each other, whereas the chance of me tipping it over and spilling on the book. As far as eating goes, I don't like to eat a big regular meal like breakfast, lunch, or dinner while eating. I would prefer just to watch a video on YouTube if I were to do that, if I'm not having a conversation with someone while I eat. The other, I will eat a snack, but it depends on how messy the snack is. I'll have popcorn, crackers, but again, I will try to make sure I'm always holding the book so that crumbs do not get into the book. And then even though I know that nothing gets into it, I'll still shake the book out. So yeah, kind of, but I'm very careful. But generally nothing more than just popcorn or just a snack. Something I can maybe put in my mouth that's going to melt in my mouth, like a hard candy, or again, just like popcorn. But even then I have even with popcorn, sometimes I have a hard time with that because if it's an ebook, that's fine. But a physical book, sometimes I just have a hard time. I mean, unless it's a book that's already got smudges in it, or one from the library, I don't really care. But depending on what I'm eating, if I know that my fingers are going to get butter or cheese or whatever on them, even though I have a napkin, I would prefer to wait to read. So yes, I can read while I eat. I don't always like to, but yes, I can, and sometimes I do, as long as it's not too messy of an item, or that I am able to keep the book away from the food and the drink. Question number 5. Can you multitask while reading? For example, am I able to read while watching TV or listening to music? It depends. If the TV and the music and conversation is more of a background, yes, because I am able to get involved and absorbed in the book enough that stuff is just kind of white noise to me. But if it's if I'm trying to read and there's a conversation within a couple of feet from me and they're loud enough, it's hard and it's distracting, and I can't deal with that. So things cannot be too loud. I have found that sometimes when I'm reading, as long as I'm able to get to a natural page break. I don't like to read while watching TV. I really don't. I have tried that. I remember being at my grandma's house one time when we were watching Forensic Files, and I would watch the show and then try and read during the commercials, which I could get involved and absorbed enough in the book to do that, but I could not get to a natural breaking point. And so that was very difficult. So I would not, for me, I just will not do that again and put myself in that position. So it basically has to be me in one room and everything else going on in another room, or things quiet enough that it's more like a white noise type of a thing. So no, I can't really multitask while reading because I just don't pay attention to that. So, and even with the music, I will not choose to put music on. That will be mostly if someone else in the house, or if I'm on break at work and coworkers want music on. They're the ones that turn it on, and sometimes I'm able to tune it out. But again, if it's too loud and too close to me, then I can't do it. But if it's far enough away and at a volume that I can tune it out, then that would be fine. But music I just find distracting. I won't even do classical music while I read because it's just, I just can't. It's just too distracting for me. I can only focus on the one thing. So no, I cannot multitask again unless it's very quiet and it's someone else has turned it on, and so it's far enough away from me that I'm able to do that. But I will not actively put on TV or movie or music or anything or engage in a conversation while I read. No, can't do it. Nope. Question number 6. One book at a time or several? Depends on what you classify as several. Right now I have one book that I'm reading. I guess the answer would be yes to that because I do have, and generally if they're in different formats. And what I mean by that is I'm reading a physical book. At night when it gets dark, sometimes I will read on my e-reader when I have a physical book and I don't want to turn on a lamp. So I'll just do the e-reader because it has that backlight. I also have on my phone an audiobook going. Obviously not all at the same, like trying to read all at the same time, but just switch between them. That I can definitely do. I'm actually starting one project too where I will actually have 2 physical books going at the same time. So yes, I can read multiple books at the same time. I'm able to differentiate easily enough between the characters and the plot. And I have no problem. I do not have a problem with things muddling together and confusing me or anything like that. So yes, I can read multiple. I prefer to do just the one physical book, the one ebook, and the one audiobook all at the same time. Question number 7, reading at home or reading everywhere? And I'm going to say both. I will read at home obviously all the time, especially while we're in quarantine. That's the place I tend to read the most right now. But I do take a book when I have doctor's appointments or things like that. So I will take and read it out and about. I cannot read while I'm in a car. That will make me sick. So that's one of the places I absolutely will not read. I used to be able to as a child, and I think because it was so short that things didn't overwhelm me as far as the motion of the car and the images going by too fast and the sound and everything. So I think when I was short enough that my eyes couldn't see what was going past, that was fine. But no, I will not read in a car. But yes, I can read pretty much everywhere else. I can read on a plane just fine. I can even read on a bus. Okay. But if I'm sitting right next to the window for too long, so sometimes I can read like one page on the bus, but then I can start to get ill. So I can read more on the bus, but not much. I've never tried on a train or anything else like that, but I can read pretty much anywhere. I'll go to 2. And as long as I can get comfortable, because again, like with the arthritis and issues that I have in my back, the big thing is being as comfortable as possible. So I cannot sit on a bar stool where there's no back for more than like 5 minutes. And so I will not even pick up a book if I'm on that type of a chair. So it's just going to also depend on the chair, because it's like if I'm too uncomfortable, I'm going to be too distracted to even read and remember what I read. But yes, I will read out and about as well if I can. I also like to read, so not in the car when it's in motion, but when we're stopped, and I'm talking not like at a light or anything, like if I go somewhere with someone and they go into the store and they're going to be in for like 5 or 10 minutes, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to walk around. I have no interest in that store. Nothing I need. I'm going to sit in the car and read while you go do your business in the store type of a thing. That's fine. I will do that. Absolutely. Question number 8, reading out loud or silently in your head? Reading silently in my head is definitely preferred. I will and can read out loud. I don't like to because I can't do the voices. But like when I was doing these short stories and for Halloween and kind of reading it back and forth with my mom, I was able to do that. It's not my favorite to do, but I can. But I do prefer to just silently read in my head. No question, hands down. The other thing with reading out loud that I wanted to mention is I go slower with that. And I think that's because I just try to be extra cautious. So it doesn't matter how cautious I am. I'm going to trip over my words. I'm going to say something wrong. Because it's like if I'm reading in my head and I come across a word, I could just go, okay, that. But if I have to know what that word is and I can't get the gist from the paragraph, then I'll have to look the word up. But if I'm reading it out loud and I come across a word I don't know, I really struggle. So yeah, that's another reason why I prefer to just read silently in my head. Question number 9, do you read ahead or skip pages? No, I cannot do that because I am worried that I will miss some vital information that may change what I think about a certain character or if I think a certain plot twist is coming. So I will not. The only time, no, not even then. I was going to say, even if I DNF a book, I just want to know how it ends. I still can't. I have to get to the point where it's just, I no longer care what's going to happen to any of the characters and just flat put it down. Even though I might have an urge to kind of skim, but even and read ahead and skip pages. But I have tried a couple of times to do that and I just cannot do that. That bugs me to no end and it confuses me. So no, that's my answer, flat out, no. Question number 10, is breaking the spines or keeping your books like new? This is very simple. And my answer is keeping the books like new. I mean, if I find a book at a used bookstore with broken spines, I will deal with it. And it's fine, and then that's not going to bother me. I have a problem with me breaking the spines and damaging a book. So let me see. I'm trying to look. I don't have any books on my bookcase with broken spines. I do have some with a little bit of damage that have happened with just moving and rearranging or shipping if I've ordered it online. For example, and especially if it's like a older book. For example, I mean, this one by Wendy Webb, The Vanishing, the most damage is just some normal wear and tear on the very edge here. You can't even really see it. Just like where the color has started to rub off from just being in and out of a bookcase or boxes and stuff. But other than that, and there's even a dot in there, that doesn't bother me because I didn't do it. So I cannot stand to damage books. The other thing I cannot stand is if I lend a book to someone, it better darn well come back in the same condition that I lent it out to you. I will be very unhappy. And of course I'm going to be like, oh no, it's fine. It's just a book. It's fine. I understand things happen. But give it to me the same way. And I am of the belief too that it's like, if I were to lend a book out to you and you damage it, I would want you to replace that book. Although me personally, I know I would have a hard time saying you damaged it. Now you have to buy me a replacement book. I would have a hard time with that. But in my mind, I'd be kind of upset that they did not replace the book. And I would mark that person on as like with a black line or a red mark or whatever through their name, being never lend a book to that person again. because if it comes back to me damaged, it's got to be replaced. If not by that person, I will definitely replace that book. I just can't, no. Nope, it's got to be like new. The final question is, do you write in your books? No, I don't. I have tried to annotate. I just find it kind of distracting when I try and go back. And I do like the idea of people doing that, and I applaud you if you can. I wish I could. I have a hard time with it. I have tried on a couple of books. When I do try to annotate in the book, and if I'm successful with it, it's not one of those things where I feel like I have to replace the book. I will leave it, but it is, if I try to do a reread, a little distracting. The most I will do, I have found, and even then it's rare. So the most with marking inside the book that I will do now is just underlining a certain phrase that jumps out to me that I find is meaningful. Not something that helps develop the plot, but something powerful, is like being true to yourself or loving yourself for who you are, and just something along those lines that can be very motivational, that people would take from the book and make a meme, a motivational meme or something out of, and that I can use as a quote, as like a motivational type of a thing from a book. Those I like. Those I will, if I have a pen, try and underline those, or I will write them down, which is my preferred method, is to write them down on a piece of paper somewhere. But I am okay underlining something like that. But other than that, I don't really write in my books. I've tried. It's just not for me, at least right now. I would like to get to the point where I can, but I just don't really see that happening in the near future. So with that being said, that is the Reading Habits book tag. I hope you enjoyed. If you'd like to do this tag, please go ahead and do that. Again, this tag has been around for years, so I don't know who the original creator was. Even though I have looked, I have found when I searched it, just a bunch of different booktubers doing that. So if you just search on YouTube, Reading Habits book tag, you will get a plethora of people doing this tag, and it's fun to see people's answers for that. So I do recommend that as an enjoyment part. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you would like to do the tag, please go ahead and do that, and you can say that I tagged you if you would like, or you can just answer in the comments below if there's one question that you wanted to answer and don't want to do the video. Definitely let me know what your answer is, and you can just definitely answer those. But until next time, please go ahead and subscribe if you're so inclined, and like the button if you liked anything or can relate to any of the answers that I gave. Please do so. But you'll find the video that I saw originally do this, the one that I saw before I saw all the other YouTubers is what I mean, not the original creator, but the one I saw. I'll have her channel linked below. And until next time, please stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I will talk to you later.